I'm doing this recording heading down to Omaha in the van. I hope you can hear me okay. A lot of road noise in this van. But I want to do kind of a video blog or an Amsoil dealer newsletter while I'm driving here. We'll start out with some product information. A lot of dealers I've asked what products they'd like to find out more about. But first of all, I wanted to start with the motorcycle oil, the 20W50, because it is the big seller right now. By the way, what you're seeing out the window, this is North Sioux City, or what we call North Sioux City, or Dakota Dunes. I'm on the South Dakota-Iowa border here in just a minute. We'll be going crossing the Sioux River and alongside the Missouri River here. Looks like some classic car up front. Can't tell what it is just yet. Maybe a 63 Oldsmobile, or we'll see in just a second. Maybe a Plymouth product. But anyway, the motorcycle oil, the 20W50, let's just mention that one because that's a huge chunk of all of my sales. And the number, oh, it looks like a Super Bee. Get around this guy. The number one testimonial that deals with the motorcycle oil is the temperature reduction under high stress and high temperatures, idling and that sort of thing. The Harley customers notice that right away that are using the 2050. And the first thing that it's usually the first thing they comment on when they come in to buy more. A lot of customers put those temperature sensors on the dipstick lid. It's got a little tube that measures the oil temperature, so they can watch the oil temperature in real time, and they usually see anywhere from 5 to 15 degree drop. I have heard up to 18 degree drop. That's pretty consistent. The other thing is the overall performance. Because we're dealing with a better quality base stock, it just overall performs better. The revs, the throttle response, and all of that. So you can just tell a customer if they haven't used it before, you're going to notice the improvement in the way the whole engine operates, and you're going to feel that as you accelerate, or even when the second you push the start button. Just like our ATV customers, they say they can tell a difference the second they push the start button. And I want to mention that ATV oil too, but the other big testimonial with the the Amsoil 20W50 motorcycle oil is, well, two things. Number one, it lasts longer, and number two, it smoothens out and quiets the motor. So we talked about the performance, the temperature reduction. Of course, what they usually don't see is a significant reduction in deposits in the things that wear the motor. But what they usually mention is they like just how it sounds, and they can tell there too. It just quiets down some of the internal issues that they had. And that's also when they put in the transmission too. It gets rid of the big, oops, I gotta slow down here, the big clunk that occurs when they shift gears. So the 20W50 is perfect for the transmission as well, because a 50 weight motor oil, if you look at a gear oil scale sitting side by side, it cuts our viscosity of the 75 or the 20W50 slices right through where the 75-110 viscosity is. By the way, this camera here, I don't have it. I forgot my other mount that mounts to this dash, so it's just laying there. So hopefully it doesn't bounce around too much. So yeah, it's actually the better way to go as far as the transmission. And for a dealer, that's nice because if you know the product well, you really don't have to keep the transmission fluid, because it just saves you on inventory costs. And keeping more inventory than you need. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of customers that have made up their mind they want that extra product. But technically, if you understand it, you don't need to worry about that so much. And then one last thing I'll mention, that primary fluid, all that is 10W40. That's the original spec. Again, they don't really need it, unless my sales point on that one is if they have a hard time finding neutral, then that makes it a lot easier. I gotta slow down here even more. I think it's 50. I'm going 50 right now. That's the Missouri River right over here. It's kind of hard to see. A lot of road construction here in Sioux City. Looks like I can stay in this lane. Always been, actually 30 years of road construction. That's what Sioux City and I-29 is famous for. Decades and decades of road construction on this little stretch right here. Okay, stay in the right lane. Anyway, so we covered that. I also want to cover the Quick Shot and the Miracle Wash. I was just thinking about something. The Quick Shot, my sales on that are pretty high, but it started with me suggesting it and explaining it to customers. And then when they try it, they're impressed. So I'd say 3 out of 4 come back again for it, whereas, you know, one person may not notice or didn't use it properly or forgot to use it. That happens too. But the Miracle Wash is worth mentioning because I never push that product, and people just come in the door for it. And I often, for people buying non-oil products, the Miracle Wash is one of the few products where they walk in the door to buy several at a time. So people ask for a case, or often they'll ask for 4 or more, and I always keep 2 cases on hand of that in the summertime because it does move. I have a lot of truck drivers from Canada that buy it too for some reason. Well, they don't sell it there, so they know when they come down and pick it up. But lately I've been getting a lot of testimonials on the Quick Shot, and they don't really give me any exact details, but they walk in the door and they say, I need some more Quick Shot. And I say, how do you like it? And they say, man, that stuff makes a huge difference. They really love it. And so that product, there's one of those little camera things. That product does impress, and it gets people's attention. Mainly on small equipment like snow blowers and generators, or things that you run at high RPM. Snow blower, for example, you got that throttle control, you have to turn it up all the way, or the yard tractors, things like that, where engines sit, and boats. I think I actually sell most of the quart size to marine customers. And it's always, well, they say 2 things when I suggest it. They either buy it because they know about it, or they say, it's too expensive, I don't need anything like that. And that's only because they never tried it before. And remember, the Quick Shot did make SEMA Product of the Year back in 2011, and I don't think that's an easy feat to accomplish. So, another thing I wanted to cover on this video, very important. If you haven't subscribed to Lubes and Greases magazine, I would stop everything and do that your first chance, because this last May issue, I haven't sat down and read it. Haven't sat down to read it yet, but I went over all the topics, and it reminds me of what they're going to talk about at the 45th anniversary convention. Inside that magazine, they're covering the new low viscosities coming out. Some new engine technologies. I think there's a big transmission fluid article. But first and foremost, or most importantly, there's a several-page article on LSPI, low speed pre-ignition. And I've been talking to all my customers about this, and if you just got involved with Amsoil, I want to let you know that this is the one piece of information that's really locking us in to an enormous future customer base. Let me move this camera back up. I just saw yesterday on a article that Chevrolet is coming out with a new 4-cylinder turbo. I'm not sure if it's a twin turbo, but it's a small 4-cylinder for the full-size pickups. And this is just what Amsoil predicted, and they said 75% of all manufacturers or engines sold here in the United States within the next year, through the next 4 or 5 years, will be these direct fuel injection turbocharged engines, because you get a lot of power, you get good engine life, and you get good or excellent fuel economy. But the thing is, with the direct fuel injection, think about it real quick. When that piston starts to compress in its when that piston starts to compress without fuel, because that's how direct fuel injection works, you get your compression first, and then you get the dose of fuel. So you don't. That takes care of the older pre-ignition problems with low octane gas. So it's now at the point where the spark plug almost doesn't even need to fire. As soon as it fires that injector, that fuel is going to ignite because of the high compression. Well, what's happening is, though, before that fuel gets added to the combustion chamber and that compression is higher than normal, we're seeing the oil that's around the oil ring or just seeping past, well, right just above the oil ring. The compression there is causing non-100% synthetic motor oils, which is just about everybody else, to ignite. And there's microscopic damage and there's severe visual damage. And what Amsoil has told us is, in order to pass the only test so far that measures the ability for an oil to prevent LSPI is the Dexron, the Dexos 1 Gen 2 test. And in order to pass it, you can have 5 actual LSPI events, which leave their signature in the form of some type of piston or ring damage. And if you read some of the latest information, the Amsoil product, whether it's the OE, the improved OE, the boosted XL, or the current signature series, so you win with all three. All three of them are a winner. We don't have that issue, so we can really do well to our customers with those products. And we're really opening up the door to all new car and truck owners and quick lubes, because they showed us the one thing. I'm going to pull over to this rest area and stop the video real quick. But the one thing that they told us is, just by going to a quick lube and choosing the wrong oil, which is what a lot of quick lube shops are going to push, the cheap oil, or that's all they have, but 10 different price levels. Just by doing that, when you leave, there is a chance, and it's actually a good chance, that you won't make it through the next intersection, because it's that point where right when you touch the gas pedal at low speed, where that pre-ignition issue does happen. So the moral to the story, though, is to read more about that. Get Lubes and Greases magazine and review that May issue. And that magazine will really enhance your business, because it helps you have another avenue on what to share with your customers as far as your own knowledge in the automotive technologies when it comes to the lubrication field. So here's a really nice rest area here, by the way, here in Iowa. So anyway, I'm going to turn off this video now. I may edit it and add more here as I head to Omaha. I still have another hour and 30 minutes to go, so I'll be back. I just thought of one other thing to add to this video, very important. As far as communications with dealers, I started that Telegram group. It's kind of like a chat room platform. Basically, we got about 12 dealers in there now, and it's really working out quite well, better than I expected, because all the dealers are taking part in helping with questions if I'm not in there, or if somebody else has the answer, that type of thing. and there's actually some really good fundamental issues being brought up. So on the newsletter that'll go with this video, or in the notes in the comments section, I will put a link to that. I've had a couple dealers that said they couldn't log in. I'm not sure why. I think they said they were using Firefox. I'm using Google Chrome, so that may have something to do with it, but I'm really not sure why that wouldn't work. But I'm also going to add, because I've learned about this Discord system, D-I-S-C-O-R-D. It's kind of like Skype. You can have live video feeds, but all day long you can just leave it on your PC or on your hand, on your phone or tablet, whatever you choose to use. And it's a app that there's a Windows app, there's a Mac app, a Linux app, device apps. But basically it's a live chat room that you just do a push-to-talk feature, and if someone's monitoring, they'll chat with you on these subjects. So it's kind of like the Telegram, where you do have the type area, and then you have the audio feed that's going on all day. It doesn't harm, slow down the performance of your computer or anything like that. It's basically an upgraded version of Skype. And then the neat thing, the beauty of it is when you create a room, the person who created the room can have all sorts of separate little chat areas or information areas. So I can have a tab on product testimonials, I can have a tab on tech topics, then there'll be a general chat area, and then maybe an area to post your hobbies or favorite automobiles, things like that, Amsoil related type things like that, and then off-topic things. So it makes kind of a community for all the dealers to share all sorts of resources and a full-time voice chat area. So that's Discord. I will be already started it. I've just got to make it official and put it into a newsletter so everybody can access that. But I'm going to have both platforms working simultaneously. The Telegram one, the first one I mentioned, I'll probably use that to post, right up to the minute announcements, because I think most dealers will probably prefer that platform. And then for the more active dealers, the Discord will be available. So, oh, and one more thing too, I'm just starting, thanks to another dealer that's had great success, Adrian down in Houston. I'm starting my Instagram for Amsoil stuff, so I'm fixing this motorcycle that I've always run Amsoil, so that's going to be used in it, my Corvair, and then I've got a 69 Datsun, and of course this van that I'm driving right now. Any type of visual connection that you have with your Amsoil products, especially if it started, my business didn't start because I wanted to start a business. My business started because I had a car hobby, and the Amsoil products, I found them and I was just impressed. Well, Instagram is a photograph-based tool. It's kind of like Facebook, but the pictures just go viral and people click on them, and then the links go right to Amsoil. So it's an instant way to gain business, whether you come in contact with that customer or not. I think Adrian was telling me most of the customers are just going right to Amsoil and signing up for accounts or buying through there. So and then he's also signed up some commercial and retail accounts using the Instagram. So I'm excited to get that one done. The only reason I've delayed is because I wanted to get my garage organized to start tackling these projects to get my Corvair back on the road and things like that. So Amsoil plays a major part of that. One photograph strategy will be the bypass kits and greases and things like that. The amazing thing about Instagram and Amsoil is he says he's the only one. There's no other dealers really doing this. and you can't really interfere with what somebody else is doing because the pool of customers is so wide. Chances are you'll post something that will not be related to or interfere with what another dealer is doing. So do take advantage of that. Start your Instagram account and start just posting photographs and talking about what you're doing, demonstrations, or even if you're let me give you a quick example, and then we'll stop it here. Quick example is the power foam. So use the power foam and say a snow blower or a riding mower or something like that, ATV, an old carbureted ATV, and then do a couple Instagram shots of what you're doing and post it and see what kind of feedback. That's where you start. So, all right, I'm getting close to Omaha here. Looks like the rain's going to start coming down, but we will continue this more of these type of videos. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Okay, Garmin, stop recording.